So it's your girl, Sweet Tea. I'm back at it again. And while I was away, I had realized something that I had never watched any of the Studio Ghibli movies.
You what?
Like, I vaguely remember watching Spirited Away when I was like really little, like when I was a kid, but I don't remember that movie. And so I keep hearing about how great the Studio Ghibli movies are. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go see what all the hype is about. Let me go peep these movies, okay? So I decided that I'm gonna be doing a little mini series on my channel where I react to all of the Studio Ghibli movies. Yay! The first Studio Ghibli movie that I watched that was highly recommended by my friends as well was Howl's Moving Castle. And oh my gosh, guys, I loved this movie so much. Like, I freaking loved it. So for those who do not know what Howl's Moving Castle is about, I'll just give a quick little synopsis rundown of what happens. Howl's Moving Castle is about this girl named Sophie who works in her family's hat shop. She's lived a pretty ordinary life, no big deal. But one day she's out and about going to go ahead and go meet up with her sister, when then these soldiers start being freaking rude to her. Like, they start bothering her and she's like, hey, leave me alone. I don't want to deal with y'all. But the soldiers keep harassing Sophie after she tells them to stop. And then Howl strolls up right behind her and he's like, are you lost, baby girl? Let me stop. Let me stop. Listen, if you know, unfortunately. Anyways, Howl rolls up to Sophie, saves her from the soldiers that were harassing her. And quite literally, he sweeps her off of her feet because he's being followed. Eventually, then Howl drops Sophie back off at her little hat shot. I said shot. Howl drops Sophie back at her little shop area where she then meets up with her sister and they talk. And her sister's like, hey, make sure you're careful. Be careful because, Howl could have eaten your heart or whatever, because Howl has this weird reputation of like eating the hearts of beautiful young girls or something like that. But then Sophie's like, but I'm not pretty, so I don't have to worry about that. After Sophie's encounter with Howl, she then goes in to close up her shop where she encounters the person who was following Howl, which was the Witch of the Waste. And the Witch of the Waste is really jealous of Sophie because Sophie caught Howl's attention. So as a result, the witch is jealous of Sophie, and so she puts a curse on Sophie, turning her into a 90-year-old woman. Sophie goes ahead and sets off to go ahead and find someone who can break the spell that was put on her. She runs into Howl's castle where she meets his apprentice Markle and this fire demon named Calcifer. Ultimately, Sophie then kind of becomes Howl's cleaning lady as she's trying to find a way to break her curse and learns that Howl is actually cursed himself. And you see throughout the movie that her love and support become an instrumental part of bringing everybody together in Howl's little group. Like, she really becomes the glue. And overall, like, you just see in the movie how all of Sophie's efforts and like her love and support really start to have an impact on Howl throughout the movie. Because like, when you first meet Howl, he's kind of self-indulgent, he's selfish, and honestly kind of toxic. Like, he low-key toxic. He really just cares about looks. He's kind of vain and whatnot. But Sophie really starts to bring the best out of Howl. When we first meet Howl, he's so used to running away from his problems, running away from his issues, including defying royal orders to come in and fight in the war and whatnot. But eventually, just being around Sophie inspires him to stand up for himself more and to stop running away from his problems and start to actually face things. So in the end, as Howl is continuing to defy royal orders, risking his life to bring peace because there's just a meaningless war going on, because he doesn't want to fight in a meaningless war. He values his freedom. Sophie eventually finds a way to break Howl's curse, and that means giving him his heart back, which was actually Calcifer all along. Calcifer was Howl's heart, which I thought was like amazing because it made me realize a few other things that I will go ahead and get into. But ultimately, she figures out how to break her own curse, and she in turn also breaks Howl's curse. But then she also breaks another curse, which was Turnip Head. That I was like, dang, Sophie had a whole hat trick with curse breaking. Like, geez, like she was 3 for 3 on that one. But overall, it's a really cute movie. Just watching Sophie and Howl fall in love with each other. Like, I'm not even gonna cap. I teared up a little bit. Like, I definitely teared up a little bit, especially at the end, because it was so heartwarming and it made me feel. Watching this movie, it definitely made me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. For one, I just want to comment on how beautiful the animation was. The animation was so beautiful, especially with all of the vibrant colors that you see throughout the film. And not only was the animation stunning and beautiful, and the set design and concepts for character designs were beautiful. Like, I liked all of it. The soundtrack of this movie, like the soundtrack of this movie was perfect. Like, I could listen to the merry-go-round of life back to back to back to back. Like, it was so, like, it was definitely a magical movie, no pun intended, because, like, you know, there's magic in the movie. But I really enjoyed watching it too. And there's a couple of things that I realized about the movies that had me like, what? So the first one that really had me mind blown was at the very beginning when Howl meets up with Sophie. He's like, sorry I'm late, I was looking all over for you. And the reason why that was mind blowing to me was because at the very end, in order to save Howl, Sophie kind of ends up traveling back in time, and where she runs into Howl when he was a kid, and that's when he first sees Howl meet Calcifer, because that's when the curse first falls upon Howl. So she figures out then, because she was at that moment, how to break the curse. But then time runs out and it's time for her to go back to the present. So Sophie then calls out to Howl, look for me in the future, meet me in the future, I know how to break your curse. And so my mind was blown because Howl said that because Sophie went back into his past and told him to meet her in the future. So when he said, I'm sorry, I'm late, that was basically like a whole fucking cinematic loop, and I was just shook. My mind was beyond blown. Like, I was shook. I was shooketh, okay? I was shook. Another thing that had me really shook about the movie was whenever, when Howl said to find your way home or find your way back, summon Calcifer with your heart. So in the movie, basically, Calcifer is Howl's heart, which is why Howl was cursed, because, you know, something, you know, whole thing happened. Long story short, Calcifer is Howl's heart. So when Howl said summon Calcifer with your heart, he was basically telling Sophie, summon my heart with yours. And that had me, oh my gosh, my mind again was blown away. And that made their love story even so much cuter, because I'm just like, oh my god, you're telling me. I just thought that detail was super cute. I really did. So in conclusion, I really loved this Studio Ghibli movie. It was really heartwarming. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. It really, like, it was just everything. It was so cute, and it felt like I was floating watching it. Like, and you know, like, it made me feel good on the inside. I highly recommend checking out Howl's Moving Castle if you haven't. And I'm super excited to react to the other Studio Ghibli movies. I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you like what I had to say, please leave a big thumbs up, subscribe, and also hit the bell notification to stay notified for when I upload new videos. Also, please follow me on my socials because I would love to hear from you all and talk to you all more about different movies and TV shows, manga, anime, comics, all that jazz. Also, comment down below and let me know, what is your favorite Studio Ghibli movie? What movie do you think I should react to next within the Studio Ghibli films? And also, is there anything in general that you think that I should react to? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, that is all that I have for today, and I hope everybody has a fantastic and wonderful day. Bye bye!